Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. This is a short revision guidance video on your July resit paper for tort law. It will cover the following issues. Firstly, the date and time of the online exam. Secondly, the format of the July resit paper for tort law. Thirdly, a suggested revision reading list including practice questions. And fourthly, there will be a section on answering essay and problem questions online. The date of the July resit paper will shortly be confirmed by registry, but it will fall within the 6th to the 10th of July. The paper will be made available to you at 6 AM and the submission time will be 10 PM. So you'll have 14 hours in which to answer 2 questions. Submission must be through a single Word or PDF document, and there will be a link on the Aula 281 module page for you to submit. And there will also be a FBL guidance document for you to read for students taking online exams. Now that will cover, amongst other things, plagiarism and collusion warnings, the use of materials during the exam, and references to examination support. Okay, so let's now focus on the format of the July resit paper. The paper, like the April paper, is divided into 2 sections, sections A and B. Section A will consist of 3 essay questions, and you are required to answer 1 question from section A. And section B will consist of 2 problem-based questions, and you are required to answer 1 question from section B. So 2 questions overall, 1 from section A and 1 from section B. Both sections A and B are worth 50% of the marks, and the total marks for the paper are 100, and the examination is worth 75% of the marks for the module. So in order to pass the exam, you must gain a mark of at least 40%. If you are doing a resit, then your paper will be capped at 40%. So section A will contain the following essay questions. Question 1 will be an essay question on the defences of contributory negligence, voluntary non-fit injuria, and illegality in the tort of negligence. Question 2 will be an essay question on vicarious liability, and question 3 will be an essay question on the rule in Rylands and Fletcher. Section B of the paper will contain the following problem questions. Question 4 will be a problem question on psychiatric injury, and question 5 will be a problem question on occupiers' liability, which will cover both the Occupiers' Liability Act of 1957 and the Occupiers' Liability Act of 1984. Okay, so let's begin by taking a look at section A, question 1 in the July paper. So question 1 will be a general essay question on the defences of contributory negligence, voluntary non-fit injuria, and illegality in the tort of negligence. You will see that there is a suggested word limit of 1500 words. If, however, you wish to write more than 1500 words, you can do so and you will not be penalised. Now, this topic was covered in week 5 of the module, and you need to watch the micro lectures, Romit's excellent micro lectures on defences, and read chapter 10 of the online textbook. You also have accompanying PowerPoint slides and a lecture handout. And I've also made reference there to the CLS reading list, which is located under Module Essentials under the Textbook tab. Now, the CLS reading lists contain additional tort textbooks and resources. And if you read the relevant chapters on defences in those textbooks, then this will improve your understanding of the topic area. There's also a practice question Examine the defences of contributory negligence, voluntary non-fit injuria, and illegality in the tort of negligence. Now this question is very similar to the question you'll be getting in the July examination. So I'm happy for you to submit to me a plan of this question, and I will take a look at the structure and the content of the plan and give you relevant feedback. Question 2 in section A will be a general essay question on the topic of vicarious liability. Now this was covered in week 7 of the module under employer's liability, but you need to focus on the micro lectures which relate to vicarious liability. The relevant chapter in the online textbook is chapter number 20, and of course you have the accompanying PowerPoint slides and lecture handout. Once again, please refer to the TALIS reading list located under Module Essentials under the Textbook tab for additional reading to enhance your understanding of vicarious liability. Now the practice question is write a critical account of the current law on vicarious liability. So this question is very similar to the question you'll be getting in the July paper. And once again, I'm happy for you to submit a plan to me so I can make comments on the structure and content of your plan. And finally, question number 3 in section A will be an essay question on the rule in Rylands and Fletcher. So this topic was covered in week 9 of your module. So you need to watch the micro lectures relating to the rule in Rylands and Fletcher. The topic is covered by chapter 19 of the online textbook. And once again, the accompanying PowerPoint slides and lecture handout. And reference again to the TALIS reading list and the relevant chapters in those textbooks relating to the rule in Rylands and Fletcher. Now the practice question is critically examine the rule in Rylands and Fletcher. So once again, this is very similar to the question you'll be getting in the July paper, a very similar question. And again, I can comment on a plan. If you submit a plan to me, I'll comment on its structure and its content. So that concludes section A questions. So let's now take a look at the section B questions. Let's now focus on section B of the July VSIP paper. So section B consists of problem-based scenarios. Question 4 will be a problem question on psychiatric injury. And this topic was covered in week 2 under special duty of care situations. And once again, you'll need to watch the micro lectures for this. Read chapter 5 of the online textbook with the accompanying PowerPoint slides and lecture handout. And once again, you've also got the TALIS reading list located under Module Essentials. So this is a practice problem question, and this was question 4 in the April paper. And it's a question which relates to nervous shock, and it raises issues in relation to primary and secondary victims of nervous shock, rescuers and bystanders. And the July question will be similar. It will raise similar types of issues. So you need to be aware of the distinctions between primary and secondary victims of nervous shock. Also notice that this question requires you to focus on the duty of care requirements. You are not required to talk about breach or causation. And the July question on nervous shock in section B will also require you to focus on the duty of care requirements only. So there'll be no need to discuss breach or causation in your nervous shock answer. I'm happy to take a look at a plan. So if you submit a plan to this answer, I'm happy to take a look at its structure and content. Question 5 in section B of your July paper will be a problem question on occupiers' liability. So this topic area was covered by Romit in week 6 of the module, and you'll need to watch the micro lectures, read chapter 11 of the online textbook, and read the accompanying PowerPoint slides and lecture handout. And once again, you have the TALIS reading list, so you can read any relevant chapter from a Tort textbook which covers occupiers' liability, in addition to the textbook online. So here is a practice problem question on occupiers' liability. This is taken from section B of the April paper, and your question in July will be a similar style of question, which will focus on the Occupiers' Liability Act of 1957 and the Occupiers' Liability Act of 1984. If you wish to, you can submit a plan to this question, and I'm happy to take a look at its content and structure. Over the last 2 years, you've all received a great deal of assistance from members of staff in how to go about answering essay and problem questions for assessments and examinations. And if you recall, Romit devoted a large portion of his April revision lecture on examination technique, so I'm not going to repeat what's already been said before many times. Recently, Dr. Steve Foster has recorded an excellent video on how to succeed in law exams, exam technique in the pandemic. The video, along with the accompanying PowerPoint slides, has been placed under Week 10 Assessment Skills and Revision. If you need any further help with examination technique, then please email me. Finally, thank you for listening and good luck in the July exam. If you have any questions about the structure or content of the exam, or any questions in relation to the law, then please email me.